So the way God communicates these thoughts is, well, put it this way. Our bodies are designed by God through these thoughts to handle communications. We're made of atoms, and we have a wild electrical system in us. I mean, our touch. Just think of our touch. You just touch us anywhere, and we feel it. Well, this is our electrical. This is the system you put in us that's used by these thoughts to transfer information to our brains. Our brains don't think. They don't come up with the thoughts. Not at all. No. They can't. We'll get all our thoughts from God. And all the thoughts we think with have been created for us for the rest of eternity. We're only going to get a little bit of thoughts from the first part of life, because we die, so in 60, 70, 80 years. So that was already in the plans. But our atoms have space within them. Science has found space. They found light within the atom. They don't know where it's coming from. They have no idea. But they have gotten to that point now. Well, what's in there is God. And the light, this light energy. That's where we are. That's the thoughts. That's who we are. We're inside each atom. It's incredible to think of that, but that's the way it is. So these thoughts transfer, we take the power, the energy that's in the atoms, transfers those thoughts up into our brains, and our brains is just like a processor. And then, of course, our thoughts get processed into who we are. Our mannerisms, our personalities, everything about us. Coupled with our genes that are in the cells, the DNA. So these thoughts, they go coming in through the atoms, and the DNA, with the information that we have in it, is coupled with that. But the DNA has genetic sins in it. That it's like an irritation, and it won't allow to transmit those pure thoughts of truth into the brain without being interrupted. And so it's just like some kind of static, that it produces. So we can't get the message to our brain right. So then our brain it's confused from what we should be thinking, and then we do all these weird behaviors because of the sins. We fear, and so that's how the communications from God to us work. Science doesn't understand this because they go from the wrong end. They're coming from the Big Bang Theory, and so they're coming in backwards, and it doesn't work. Nothing works out. So they can only study the body, and then they can only guess where, how we think and things like that. So they're not near, it would take them probably another 1,000 years or more to finally figure out that thoughts aren't processed in our brain. But God is in every single atom that exists. All the atoms, they're in them. That space in the atom is where God is. Okay? And the atoms obey Him. How else do you think things are formed into the things we see? Perfection. How could that possibly be on a random order of things? No order, just a random. Can you imagine atoms just floating around and here we go, human being? You see? It can't happen. It can't. Just to take a diamond, for example, and all the atoms all just come into that one spot where there's a diamond. Now humans can manipulate these atoms, once they exist in the soil and things like that, and with the humans, and they can do all kinds of things to manipulate, but they can't create them. Humans cannot create life. They can't create atoms. Okay. Now they can take a bomb and make more atoms, yeah. They can, out of heat, you can get, but you're not making any new atoms. You're taking what's there and making them bigger. So we can't, we're not changing anything. We're not really making anything. Besides, it's all going to be burned away anyway. Whatever humans made will be dissolved down in the hot molten lava. So we really think that we have, and that's the sin of pride, makes us believe that we're our own gods, and that we can create. And look at what we did. Look at the buildings we built. Look at the water systems and the sewage systems that we build. And it's just phenomenal what humans can do. But guess where those thoughts came from? They didn't come from humans. Everything come from God. They just got twisted. That's all. They got selfishly twisted from those sins, and then man gloated in that change. And that's my thoughts. That's what I did. That's why nobody's going to make anything in paradise. Nobody's going to have any man-made objects in paradise. He's going to strip that from us. We won't even have the mentality to make things. So this age we're living in is not what God. It's what He needed for deception to get His true believers. I shouldn't say just believers, but the prophets and the saints and Jesus. Those people, He needed to gather them to speak the word, for giving power for life, to make things happen in the flood. How do you think that happened? That's from the word spoken by Moses. I'm speaking the end of this earth into existence. So, this destruction that's coming was powered by the word that I spoke. I don't take any credit for that. Everything came from God. He just uses my voice to speak. I'll stop here.